When I turned 50, I had to completely shift the way that I was eating. Not a diet, not restriction, but real sustainable changes that made me feel like me again. If you're over 40 or 50 and you feel like suddenly your body has completely changed, you're bloated, you're tired, and all the things you used to do don't work anymore, I get it. These are 9 things that I changed in my diet to help me beat bloat, burn fat, and finally get some freaking sleep. The first major change that I started making was eating protein first. Now, I know everyone talks about protein all the time, but one of the things that I haven't really been specific about here on my channel is the fact that eating protein first is really key, especially if you're like me and I've been in menopause for now almost 3 years. You want to front load the protein so that you get all those grams of protein in so that you're maintaining your muscle mass, so that your body, metabolically speaking, is functioning optimally. And honestly, you're just going to feel so much better. Now, I've talked about this before, but as we get older, if you're in perimenopause or menopause, our body actually doesn't absorb the protein and really process it in the way that it did when we were in our 20s and 30s. I know, it's the worst. So that's why it's especially important that you are front loading the protein. Now, I do not track calories and I'm not a big macro tracker, but one thing that I do try to keep a closer eye on are my protein grams. And I try to just make sure that I'm getting about 100 grams a day. This is so easy, guys. You don't need an app or a tracker or anything like that. You just want to kind of eyeball it that you're getting about 30 grams with each meal. In fact, I did a whole video teaching you how easy it is, so you can check that out after this video. The second thing is really making sure that you are treating fiber like the queen that she is. You can't just eat protein. And everybody's hammering you with protein right now. But I don't hear enough people talking about fiber because as we get older, we're in perimenopause and menopause, our digestive system also starts slowing down. And you know what else needs to happen in order for you to function optimally? You gotta go. So I try to get my fiber from real food sources, berries, fruits, leafy green vegetables, chia seeds. These are amazing sources of fiber that are going to keep you full and keep things moving, which we all need. Fiber also helps to balance good gut bacteria, and this is really, really important. So, if you're noticing that, wow, I've been really eating a lot of protein, but I'm kind of backed up your fiber, and I promise you, you're gonna feel so much better. You'll feel less puffiness, you'll have regular digestion, and your body is going to just be functioning at that top elite level that we all want. The third thing that I made a real non negotiable that really changed everything for me was making sure that number one, I was eating breakfast, but also that I was really dialing it in so that it's just so easy for me. Because quite honestly, if it's not easy, you know you're just not going to stick with it. And one way that I really started hacking the system was with my daily harvest smoothies. My mornings are chaos, but this is one thing that I could do that's just for me. It's nourishing, it's quick, and honestly, I just don't even have to think about it. I mean, it's kind of like making your bed in first thing in the morning. It sort of sets the tone for the day. And when I start my day with a smoothie, I know that I'm supporting my body again for that optimal functioning. As a mom running a business, trying to get my workouts and really take good care of myself, and like I said, my mornings are chaotic, but I feel such a huge sense of relief and calm knowing I've already made one solid choice for my health. I'm fueled, I'm focused, and I made one positive decision already just for me. And can I also just say the power of not standing in your kitchen wondering, what should I eat for my next meal? This just makes it so easy. Daily Harvest makes it so easy to eat real whole food. Everything's built on organic fruits, vegetables, nothing weird, nothing engineered, no labels I can't pronounce. And their smoothies are frozen at peak ripeness, which means all of the flavor and the nutrients are locked right in. No wilted produce, no food waste, nothing going bad in your fridge. And if you're anything like me, I hate throwing out food.
I'm absolutely loving the high protein smoothie. The strawberry banana tastes so good. It almost tastes like a milkshake. You can't even believe it. And my daughter is absolutely obsessed with it.
It's one less thing to think about and one really easy way to take really good care of you.
So definitely check out Daily Harvest. Use my discount code Tracy15 and you'll get 15% off your first box of $100 or more. This makes my mornings so much easier.
So definitely check them out, the description box below. The next thing that I've done that's been such a game changer is probiotic foods over pills. Now, I love supplements. I'm such a supplement girly, and it really does make a huge difference when you find a supplement stack that works for you, which is also really important when you're in your 50s. However, for me, when it comes to probiotics, I like eating them in the form of foods most. Now, I'm not a huge dairy girl. I just find that I don't feel my best when I'm eating a ton of dairy, but I do love from time to time a nice Greek yogurt because it does have more protein and it's loaded with probiotics. But my favorite source of probiotic foods is kimchi. Kimchi is fermented vegetables. It's usually like a cabbage base, and I get it at the grocery store. I get it at Whole Foods. There's a brand that I love called, I think it's called Sunja. I've been eating it for years, and I'm telling you, while it might not be Instagrammable, it is absolutely delicious when I make one of my just food bowls for a meal. And I do this all the time. Pro tip also, sometimes when you just don't have time to cook vegetables or have any vegetables on hand, even leftovers, or you just don't feel like a salad, if I'm having like maybe some ground beef and I'm like, well, I don't have any vegetables, I'll just throw a bunch of kimchi in the bowl. And that way I'm having that fiber, those probiotics supporting my gut bacteria along with the protein. And it's literally the easiest thing in the world. It adds flavor, it adds crunch, and there's no junk. Now, if you're not a kimchi lover, any kind of fermented vegetables are just great. Kimchi, sauerkraut, fermented carrots, beets, whatever you like the most. A great place to get this is a market like Whole Foods or something, but also check out your local farmer's market. Or if you are a DIY kind of gal, you can do it yourself. I have never done it. I think it's really easy, but it's just something where I'm like, I just don't feel like doing it. I'd rather just buy it." Fermented foods help support digestion, reduces inflammation, and even support your immunity. So definitely these are something that you want to add into your rotation on a regular. If you really want to look and feel your best and you're over 40 or 50, one of the best things you can do is tap on that subscribe button. It's completely free to do so. And honestly, I have tons of videos that are really designed for women like us that want to look and feel our best. So click on that subscribe button. If you're liking this video so far, give this video a big thumbs up and tap on that bell notification. All right, let's keep going. Now, this next one is something huge because I am a sugar girly. I love sweet foods. I love fruit. I love desserts. I've always been more of a sweet girl rather than a savory. But at this stage of my life, I have to monitor how much added sugar I'm getting into my diet and my nutrition plan. So I like to call myself a little sugar sleuth now. So my daughter, who is now 6 years old, is so used to me at the grocery store reading the labels. And one thing that I'm always even teaching her now is looking for those extra grams of sugar. I always want to, especially if you're eating something packaged, always go for the items that have less grams of sugar, less ingredients, and are more in their normal state. So I try to eat really less processed food as much as possible, but it's really, really important. Obviously, you're going to have some foods that are processed or packaged. Just make sure you really are diligent about reading your labels. I'm telling you, it makes such a difference in inflammation, in puffiness, in weight around your middle end. Even these so-called healthy foods like an acai bowl, or like if you're eating a flavored yogurt, or even juices, which, even if there's no added sugar, it just has a lot of natural sugar. I promise you, you are going to feel so much better when you're really limiting that. Now, it's so easy to do, especially if you're eating more protein and you're eating more fiber. You will have less cravings because sugar wants more sugars, which I probably don't have to tell you. Sugar is extremely, extremely addicting. So just monitor any of those extra little bits of sugar, the sugar in your coffee. Are you having a flavored yogurt? Are you drinking a lot of juices? Are you, enjoying those acai bowls? Well, we might think, oh, it's so great and healthy. You're actually probably having a lot more sugar than you intended. This one makes me laugh because when I was in my 20s and 30s, I thought that if you were a meal prepper, quite honestly, you were a psycho. But now that I'm a mom, I realize that I have to meal prep. And I'm not talking about the like Tupperware stack and like, chicken and broccoli only. No. But I mean, putting some thought in how am I going to feel my body and my family's body for the week, making sure that we always have good, healthy options that are easy to just grab and go and to sort of assemble a meal. Now, Like I said, I don't do the Tupperware thing. I hope none of you do that because it just doesn't seem like a lot of fun. But, if I am roasting a chicken, you better believe that I'm going to also roast some vegetables, right? If I'm making one protein, I'll likely make two. And, like, let's say I'm doing like a ground turkey with some carrots in and, I don't know, onions and garlic or whatever, a little bit of tomato sauce. It's so good. There's a million different ways I can use it, right? I could use it with a pasta. I could have that as like a taco. I could have it just as a bowl with like some broccoli and some kimchi, right? So it's just about getting really creative and having the food that you want that's really going to support your goals ready for you in your fridge or your freezer. It saves you time, it saves you energy, and honestly, it's going to save you so much more money. One thing that I'm not happy about is like now moving to Miami after living for 22 years in New York, takeout and delivery was like we had it all the time, right? But in Miami, it's just I feel like the quality is not as good and it's just slow. And so like and my husband's like, "Well, why don't we just order food?" I'm like, "It's going to be here in like an hour and a half. Like I don't have that time to waste." So I like the fact that we are actually preparing more food at home. And that's just the easiest way for you to maintain quality control too. And none of this is about perfection, but it's about just kind of having a little easy system for yourself. So again, you were setting yourself up for success. Now, this change was actually surprisingly easy for me, especially like I said, I'm a mom to a 6-year-old, but eating dinner earlier, when we lived in New York before my child was born, we never ate dinner before like 7:30, 8 o'clock. But now, because I want to eat dinner with my daughter, we usually eat dinner around like 5:30, 6:30 o'clock at night is usually the latest because I want her going to bed at like 7 or 7:15. So the earlier we eat together as a family, it's so much better. Not only do we have that family time together, but then my body has more time to digest the food and kind of like kitchens closed a lot earlier. Now, I've spoken about this before and I've done a whole video about this. I don't like intermittent fasting. I really like tuning into my body's own hunger cues. So I don't like, traditional intermittent fasting, but just by nature of eating dinner a little bit earlier, it's going to give me that like 12 to sometimes even 14-hour window until my next meal, unless of course I have a snack. And you know what? If I feel like I want a snack later, I do, right? Because again, I'm listening to my body. I'm not going to have a snack if I'm bored or I'm lonely or I'm angry or whatever. But if my body actually feels like, you know what, I kind of still feel like I'm a little bit hungry, I will have that extra snack. But one thing I can tell you for sure is eating dinner, like a big full meal earlier, you're going to sleep better, your digestion's better, and honestly, it makes it a lot easier to keep that menopausal middle away. Now, we all know that we need to be well hydrated, right? But here's one thing that I can tell you for sure, especially if you're menopausal, even if you are chugging tons of water, likely you still might be dehydrated. I know it's so weird, but we need minerals and electrolytes in our water. And unfortunately, most of us are just not getting that. So adding electrolytes has been huge game changer for me. There's tons of brands on the market. One of my favorites is Peak. They have their deep hydration protocol, which has this beautiful, it's called the BT fountain, and it is just loaded with hyaluronic acid and it has electrolytes in it and it tastes delicious. And there's no like weird colors or sugar or any kind of junk added. And then in the evening, they have an evening formulation that has magnesium and it just really helps to relax me and help me sleep. But again, there's tons on the market, but here is the buyer beware. You must read your labels. If they only have sodium, that's not a good one. If they have added colors or tons of added sugar, that's not great for you. Even look out for natural flavorings because honestly, we don't know what that's made of and there's just so much like wiggle room and no I don't like obsess over that one, but the truth is you want to just get the highest quality that's really going to taste good, work for your body, and something that you're actually going to take. Because I'm telling you, what a difference when you do this on a regular. It helps with energy, it helps with digestion, and bonus, it also helps to keep those cravings in check. And this last one is as surprising to me as it might be to you, and that is that I have cut way down on alcohol. And honestly, I would even consider myself sober curious. One of the things that I love about young people now is that Gen Z, they're actually not drinking a lot. And I think that's just so great. Like, look, drinking is poison, right? It causes inflammation. But one thing that has become glaringly obvious to me is when I drink, I don't sleep well that night. and I feel like crap the next day. And I'm not even talking about drinking to the point of like getting drunk. I'm talking about having anything more than like one glass of wine. I will 1000% feel it the next day. And so honestly, at this point in my life, I'm like, I'm 50 years old. Do I really want to wake up feeling foggy, feeling groggy, like not having slept well because I was drinking? Like, honestly, I don't. So I've cut way, way, way down on alcohol. I'm talking about like having like one drink like every like week and a half, and I just feel so much better. I've also noticed that my midsection, it's less puffy, my sleep is deeper, it's more restful, I feel recovered, and again, that cognition in my brain is just so much better. I didn't have this one on my bingo card, but honestly, I'm really, really into it. If any of you want to know about some of the things that I am doing in lieu of alcohol, let me know in the comments because I am experimenting with some things and I'm really kind of liking it. So I'm not saying that I'll never drink. That's not it at all. But I'm definitely drinking a lot less, and it just feels really good. And I know there's a great thing for my body. So none of these changes that will be talked about today happen overnight. But one thing that I can tell you, just like any habit, kind of habit stacking, it just makes it so much easier. And one good decision leads to the next good decision. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed or feel like you need to overhaul your whole life. But if you are wanting to create better habits for yourself, or if weight loss is your goal, I do have a masterclass that's totally free. So I'll leave that link down below in the description box so you can check it out. So you are not alone if you want to make some changes. That's one of the things I love about health and nutrition is that we always get to fine tune things. We always get to make a different or a better choice, and we have that power in our hands. So I hope that you really like this. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Like I said, tap on that subscribe button. And if you want to keep hanging with me here on YouTube, make sure to check out this video next. I'll see you there.